buoyed by a host of ministerial endorsements and suggestions to adopt the Made in India messaging app, both Zoho Corp and its Made in India Arattai are seeing a boom that possibly they never saw coming like this. And to talk about what they have planned to sustain this momentum and a whole host of other issues, I have with me none other than Sridhar Vembu, co-founder and chief scientist at Zoho Corp. So thanks a lot for speaking to CNN News 18. I'm here in your campus. It's a buzzing campus and lots of young people. I see a lot of young women working here. And interestingly, when I was coming at the reception, I saw this elderly lady taking care of almost a newborn child. And it felt nice to see that somebody could, the reception had made space for them. How would you describe Zoho Corp's campus and its culture, the company's culture?
First of all, thank you for coming here. Welcome to our campus. Really appreciate it. Namaskaram. So we are here, we look at ourselves as an extended family. That's how I'll describe it. That's why you saw the kids. We do take care of the child care because it's working parents, both father and mother. They can work more at peace if they know that their child is in a safe place. I want to add this. Today we have a demographic bust everywhere, particularly in the south, but all over India. So I encourage our own employees, get married, have children, and only if the company provides the environment can they even have it. So we try to go out of our way to help by providing the facilities here.
That's great to hear. And that's completely separate to what sometimes corporate culture can be.
Yes.
Not just in India, but all around the world. But Mr. Vembu, I want to just quickly dive into this whole Arattai thing. I was speaking to Mani Vembu last week. I also tweeted about this, that, this whole Arattai app is having a moment. And from 3,000 per day to 300,000 to I think 1 million after that. And Mani Vembu was telling me it's still sustaining at 1 million subscribers a day. But the biggest challenge is what to do next, isn't it? You weren't prepared for this surge. You somehow managed it. But everybody wants to know, what are you going to do to make sure that this rise and this momentum can be sustained?
Right now our focus is twofold. One, delivering on that end-to-end encryption that is in testing right now. Within the next 1 or 2 weeks, it should be rolling out steadily to all our people who are downloading it, people who have downloaded the app. That's the first step. And the next, we are also expanding our infrastructure. That was already in the works. That was slated for November. We are accelerating it. So that also the second one. Third, only after all this is done, we are making a lot of usability, small UX improvements, speeding up the app, speeding up the loading of screens, all of those refinements. In fact, all of those refinements were due to be done before we rolled it out, but our hands were forced a little bit. But so we are getting all that done. That's the internal focus. Externally, of course, we have to sustain the momentum. And what we are planning to do is all of the integrations one by one. The broader ecosystem. If you look at the Zoho suite itself, then you look at mapping tools, all of this. We are actively working on integrating all those, but it will take time. It's not immediate. The first set of priorities, make the app perfect, and then make all of the integrations available. So at least 2-3 months, we are extremely busy scheduled now, rolling it out. Then along with it come then the marketing part. How do you make everyone aware? And we are also, and our marketing teams are busy at work on that priority as well.
So apart from this whole Made in India component, how will you sell Arattai to the public that already is very used to using other platforms? How will you convince them to change and come to this platform? Is it only because it is made in India, or is there more?
It is the same way why people are coming to Zoho Mail now. In fact, Zoho Mail adoption, I want to point out, it has happened organically and globally in the last 5-6 years. It is now the fastest growing email product, and it's our fastest growing product for us. How did this happen? It happened because over time we built a better product, really truly superior offering. We have the capacity to do it, and this is something customers in the US and Mexico and Canada and in Colombia and UAE, everyone will talk about that we have actually a powerful email platform. And so in a similar way, we hope to build the best messaging product. We already have experience building it in Zoho Click for the enterprise. So we are bringing all of those capabilities here for the consumer. So we hope to win the customer not just on Made in India, which we are proud of, also because it's a better product.
It's a better product.
Yes.
You know, interestingly, privacy is very closely linked to such products, and you have talked about 3 distinct cases of digital privacy. One you called the secret lover case, the ad violation case, and on these you have assured users that your data is absolutely secure. You can have intimate or any kind of private conversations, that's not going anywhere, and Zoho does not milk the data of the consumer for any kind of marketing purposes. The third scenario is the secret rebel case. On this, you have insisted that Zoho will have to follow certain governmental guidelines. What exactly do you mean by that? What is the risk in that case?
I started talking about this nearly 13 years ago in the US. In America, customers would ask us, because we are a Indian-made software, there were customers who are hoping that this software would offer them protection against the US government.
Yes,
interestingly, because it's foreign-made software.
Yes,
it's symmetrical. I would tell them openly in public, our events. Look, it is not our job as a private company to secure you against your own government. Nobody can offer that. Nobody can assure you of that. We have to comply with the law here, the law of the land here. We are operating here. We have to comply with the law here. Anybody who promises that you are safe against the US government living in America because you use this software, they are lying to you or they're deluded. That's not happening. Okay? They have vast powers. I mean, you can go look up the USA Patriot Act if you want to know proof, evidence of this. Which is why I think it's not meaningful for any platform to offer in a jurisdiction, quote unquote, protection to the citizens against their own government. That is the broader point I'm making. Some people want to misconstrue that point, but it's always true in any jurisdiction. If we are operating in Dubai, we are subject to the laws and regulations of Dubai. We are operating in US, same thing, right? So in every jurisdiction, we have to obey those laws, and that is mandated. If we have employees there, we have revenue there, so that's inevitable that we have to do this. And so in that sense, I said no private company, not just Zoho, can guarantee that part of it. In other words, I was joking about if you want to be a secret rebel against your government, maybe this is not the kind of thing that you would be using. And I don't know what product you will be using, because nobody can guarantee that to you.
Yeah. So, just to simplify this for us to resist that pressure a little bit more against the Indian government or agencies, would you be able to resist it as much?
US companies won't be able to resist very much more, or anybody. They have operations in India. They have employees in India. They have assets in India. So it's not, it's not like anybody there pristine. Everybody is through the internet. Internet services can be blocked. They have been blocked. So it is not, that's why I'm saying that to offer, if somebody wants to operate in India long term, they have to comply with the laws of India. And that's true for us, that's true for them. And we are operating in the US, they are operating in the US, we have to operate by US law there, and likewise with them. So I think this is a level playing field.
This is a par for the course.
Exactly.
That if you're doing anything illegal, companies will have to cooperate.
We'll have bound by law in the local jurisdiction.
Given that, what would you say to address certain privacy concerns that people may have? Overall, big tech is facing this question.
Right. So that's why I said the second thing I said, the ad-based violation. Look, what do people on a daily basis, most people are not rebels about the government, right? What they are facing, the kind of revulsion. I'm having a conversation with a friend. Suddenly an ad shows up that's very related to them. That feels like an intrusion, right? There's a distaste about it. Everybody feels that. That's true across every culture, it's true. This is the real charge against those companies. And they have not successfully ever rebutted it because they are doing it. It's obvious they are doing it. In fact, I've heard horror stories of how, if you post something about, I'm not well, this and that, pharma ads show up.
Yeah.
How did they show up, right? So this is really the violation here we are talking about. Then the secret lover case I talked about, because that's the standard expectation of privacy. Anybody can have, should have all of that. And that, I think, in every jurisdiction in India, the courts have recognized the right to privacy. It's very good, right? That the private or between any people doing their own private consenting adults, that's none of anybody else's business. That is enshrined in Indian law too now, right? So those are the 3 cases I distinguished, because it's important to distinguish these cases. Often we just sweep everything under the same carpet, but the second part is crucial. The business models matter. Our business model is we are not dependent on ads. We will not depend on ads. We don't want to harvest the data. We don't want to mine the data to show you ads. If you are talking about a vacation in Thailand, we don't want to show you Thai ads there. That's the important part. And I think most consumers will expect that from us, and we will stand by that.
Absolutely. But given everything, given the scenario as it prevails today, a lot of surge for Arattai and a lot of awareness about Arattai, but what do you think is your biggest challenge still? Is it infrastructure on the back end, or is it making people aware that, there is this made in India, more secure, more private option available?
They can build the technology all right, we can scale the infrastructure. Definitely the distribution, getting it widely adopted is by far the biggest challenge. Okay, we can build the technology. We have already built most of it, and we are putting a lot of finishing touches now. But getting it widely adopted, that's definitely a challenge. I don't want to minimize it, and I don't want to overhype it. I don't want to say we have it covered. It has to happen steadily. But we will stay the course.
Because, we recently had an experience where Koo, the other, social media app, shut down. It was initially had hype as a made in India platform, rivaling Twitter or X now, but it did not succeed. So what makes you confident that, Arattai will not go that way?
Sadly, the chapter was closed too soon on that, right? If they had the staying power, if they had a business to elsewhere, some other business, maybe a software business, whatever, funding it, they could have kept it going. For example, if one of the IT majors had acquired them, it could have been kept going. So in some ways, actually, I wish we had acquired them, but we were not ready yet. We didn't have all the strength yet. So that's why I think it requires a fundamental, you have the staying power. That's the thing. It's not that it didn't take off. Nothing, you cannot expect anything to take off immediately in this, particularly when there are powerful incumbents. And many of our products succeeded only after 10 years.
Even Arattai is 4 years old.
Arattai is 5 years in development. Zoho has taken like 12, 13 years before we found the first customers. Okay. So the question is not, will you succeed? Do you have the staying power? Okay. That is the question.
All right. But I just want to understand from you, this whole conversation around made in India. Why do you think it is so important that we've come to this cusp where the government even is openly promoting made in India products? There's a big Swadeshi push. Why is this so important for India going forward?
First of all, I'll back up. I have been involved in the Swadeshi technology movement for a long time.
Yes.
And the Swadeshi Jagran Manch, I've been actively involved in because it's out of conviction, it's out of passion. I returned to India because I want our nation to be self-reliant in technology. That's why I came back. So it is a passion for me. And same way I want to build this with rural talent. Now this awakening is happening broadly in our society, in government and in the private sector, everywhere. Why is that happening? Well, I've been saying this in many public meetings. I said our phones could be stopped in any moment. Our maps have been stopped before. At the time of need, the maps will stop working. Right? All of these, that is the weaponization of technology I talk about. Any of this could happen, and we know this will happen, and it has been threatened to happen. Then, rational people will seek alternatives. What do we build? How do we build this? We have the talent pool. It takes time, but we have the talent pool to build it. If we pool our resources together, as one company, we are spending a lot of our resources now, but the nation has vastly more resources. Companies across the nation, many tech companies have billions of dollars at their disposal. If we pool these resources together, we can build all of this technology. Now, for example, the Tata Group is now building the first fabs in India, which is really good. It takes many billions, but they have the resources to invest. And just like the fabs, in every sector, whether it's an operating system, databases, LLMs, it takes billions of dollars, but more than the billions of dollars, it takes a talent pool. We do have that. And on the other side of the coin, it is opportunity for our own youth and our own rural youth. So we talk about unemployment, underemployment, lack of challenges. Building all this technology is the employment. So both can be addressed by doing this.
Yes, absolutely. You've spoken very much about tapping into the rural talent, which you are leading yourself as. Before I talk more about that, recently there was a case where Microsoft switched off the cloud services for the Israeli military because of certain allegations that were made against the Israeli military. So these examples are happening all the time.
Correct.
Do you think national sovereignty is very much or could very much be under threat of big tech companies?
Look, today we live in a world where big technology is essential to national sovereignty, national security, not to mention national wealth. Our value addition, GDP, that's the easy one. That's easy to understand. But national sovereignty and security, all of that are at risk because of technology, right? If we don't create the self-reliant technology, all of this are at risk. Now take that specific example. In fact, there was another news. Netherlands seized a Chinese invested semiconductor company yesterday. Seized is the right word. This is not news you would expect from Netherlands.
Yes.
Right? These are all capitalist countries, rule of law. A court ordered that seizure. So that's why I'm saying this is what is happening around the world, and what you saw about the Microsoft news. Earlier news was Microsoft stopped services to some European judge in the European Court of Justice. These are the kinds of happenings that clearly create the concern. Clearly an European company would not have done it because they are bound by European law. An Israeli company would not have stopped servicing the Israeli military. An Indian company cannot stop servicing the Indian defense, right? Which is why all this technology is vital to have. If we have to remain a sovereign, secure nation, we need the technology, we need to invest in the technology. There cannot be, this is not a political issue. Regardless of who's in power, which party is in power, these matters do not go away.
Absolutely. But then people will also ask a question that how do you stop Indian government from abusing these systems? Because that problem will also arise. Do you think that's a fair question to ask?
It is see, we are a democracy. We are a very boisterous democracy. We have legal protections. Supreme Court weighs in on all these matters all the time in everything, right? So, and we have a very vibrant press.
Yes.
So, I think those are the safeguards. We are a vibrant democracy.
At least it will be for us to decide what is right.
It's only for citizens, our citizens to decide. We get to vote on these issues. These become political issues, and political parties agitate all the time. So why is it that that is the safeguard really for the ultimately the government power? It is subject to the citizens' opinion, the free press, the judiciary, all of it. It's not purely technology. But only if you have the technology do we even get the option to vote on these questions.
Yes, absolutely.
Otherwise we don't. It's not in our hands then.
So you talked about, a whole of nation approach, that it's instead of just one company here and there, everybody should pool in their resources. What do you think India should be doing in this regard with government help or with companies coming together?
Yeah. This is something I've proposed before. We need a kind of a national technology mission where we identify those 100 critical technologies, 1,000 critical technologies. I don't mean just AI or any of the hot topics now. Take metallurgy, advanced alloys, steel, advanced steel formulations, and pharmaceutical molecules, in robots, in all of these materials, advanced materials, carbon composites, which is critical for defense, and motors, permanent magnets, rare earths. Rare earths is hot in the news recently. Before that, magnets were hot in the news. Before that, you can keep on going. From Microsoft software to magnets. Everything is geopolitical now. Everything is geopolitical. So that means we have to identify all of these critical technologies, vital for our national sovereignty, our security, our well-being, all of it. We have to have a mission where we have a focus areas. Here's what I propose. We can annually rank our companies on this. How well, where do we stand? Where do we stand with respect to global competition? Where do we stand within India? We are a country which loves JEE ranks and NEET ranks. Why don't we rank companies on technologies? We can do it objectively. We can set up bodies to rank them objectively. Based on that, we can give out awards. Like our civilian awards can depend on you produce the best technology in drones, right? And like chess awards, all of that, why don't we have it for technology? And then the LIC, all of those institutions can invest in these efforts. That's where the government bodies come in. Because the government bodies control a lot of capital, State Bank of India, LIC, they can invest in these efforts. And over a 5-10 year period, we can set up milestones. We need to reach there in drones, we need to reach there in jet aircraft, all of that. In 5-10 years, we can definitely make huge progress. That's what I hope to see.
I wanted to ask you, we often see these controversies over language in India. Since we're talking about all of us coming together, in Bengaluru or Mumbai, people sometimes even get beaten up or harassed because they don't speak the local language. How do you look at these cases?
Yeah. So, first of all, I tell you, 90%, 95% of our population does not speak English. Okay? If you look at in Tamil Nadu, maybe about 80% definitely cannot understand English, 85% easily. Even in villages, the percentage is much higher in terms of purely only Tamil speakers. If I want to move to a state, if I'm going to move to UP, I should learn Hindi. It is out of respect. This is true in every country in the world, other than India, that you can go there and never speak the local language, right? So our states are actually huge, bigger than most countries now. So we have to have respect for the local culture, local language. That's important. People who say, I will refuse to speak the local language, I'm not in sympathy with them. You have to make the attempt. But it's easy to make the attempt. People are very forgiving. If I speak even broken Hindi, people will help me out. But I say, I will not speak to you in Hindi. That is a problem, right? Same thing, if you come to Tamil Nadu and say, I will not even make an attempt ever. I have lived here 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but I will not make the attempt. That's what I think causes problem. So I do believe that if you move to a state, you should, and if you intend to live there, you should make the effort to pick up some of the local language. Then the people will come to you and help you out. So I think that is, it's only, kind of our human courtesy to our fellow beings. So.
I want to speak to you about the H-1B visa. You've already mentioned how Indians on H-1B, with all the controversies going on, should look at coming back to India. But a lot of them voice this genuine concern whether India even has the infrastructure or the bandwidth to deal with them. People who build their lives and careers and a certain lifestyle in US, for example. It wouldn't be very easy for them to give up and come back. And is India ready to even get a lot of this talent back?
Yeah, look, if people have the easy option of staying, they can stay, right? But if other nation says go back, what do? Right? Those are the people I'm addressing. Why stay in a place that no longer wants you? That's the person I'm addressing. They already have a green card, citizenship, they have the option of staying. It's their personal choice what they do. But if somebody they say go back to your nation, I'd say we should just come back. That's my attitude. And all of these issues you talked about. Look, I think I have the best life in the world in rural India. I have a mental attitude. I'm not sacrificing anything, by the way. I'm very happy in my village. And you can find that happiness. It is there. In fact, the food, the culture, all the festivals I participate, I don't want to miss it for the world. So I know I'm in heaven, really, as I'm personally concerned. I think you can build that attitude. When you have that attitude, India is very welcoming, very warm. If you have that attitude, you can also do very good work here. So that's what I believe.
But do you feel like some of our urban infra issues, like they keep coming up from Bengaluru, maybe even from Mumbai, Delhi, just urban infrastructure issues, those need to be sorted out if we really wanted to attract the best global talent, not just Indians, but the best global talent?
These are some of the largest cities in the world now. We are talking about 1.5, 2 crore populations. There's not that many Western cities, no Western city in that league, only perhaps Shanghai
or in Japan.
And Japan, Tokyo. And those have had a lot longer to deal with that influx. Okay, we are doing it in a very compressed time. Look at Bangalore in the last 30 years, right? How much the population exploded. When I was in IIT, Bangalore had fewer people than Chennai. Now it has a lot more people than Chennai, right? It's impossible to handle that growth. The best of governments will struggle with it. If you put the best government in the world, you give the Bengaluru's population growth, it's difficult. I'm not saying our government is perfect. I'm just saying it is a very hard problem. It's a very hard problem from funding, infrastructure development. During the time of infrastructure, all the bottlenecks around, all these are hard problems. My respectful suggestion is we shouldn't be flocking to our big cities so much. We cannot keep on throwing more and more people at the same big cities because it'll degrade. On the other hand, you come to Tenkasi, you come to Madurai, you come to all these places, it's much more of a relaxed environment. We don't face these population pressures. Mysore is a good example. I went there, I really loved Mysore, right? All of these cities are there. We can build technology there. So that's why I think we have to look at diversifying our in terms of our population base, where we locate all this. Because we're just saying one city growing so big, it's also a mathematical challenge. Yeah. I like to bore with my analysis. I say that the infrastructure spend per capita itself grows fast with population. It's not a constant. If you add more people, you just add more infrastructure, that's not enough. The infrastructure grows non-linearly with population. That's the problem. That's a serious problem. So that's why we cannot build ever bigger cities. At some point, we have to diversify into smaller cities.
I wish you the very best. Sridhar Vembu, thanks a lot for speaking to CNN News 18. Thank you.